Yeah, it promises to be a great game, this. And as you said, Jimmy has had a resurgence. Had a few injuries last year or the year before, and he's playing so well at the moment.
We talked about this a bit at the British Open, but it's not an understatement to think he was on the verge of never playing the game again. You know, it was absolutely very, very serious. A couple of issues with his diabetes and issues with his foot and his eye. You know, it was really absolutely not a certainty he'd play again, but fully recovered, and he's fit and healthy to resume his pro career, but also very much enjoying his coaching career, which is flying along well, and it keeps him in really good shape.
Yeah, he's doing loads of that coaching. I see he's got plenty of clients there, and he's, like you say, he does really enjoy it, and I think it's helped his game. You know, you can coach other people, but you can actually progress your own game at the same time.
Well, I mean, obviously he's not hit the best of breaks or terms of results. Craig Waddingham's going to get the first opportunity. But while we're talking about Jimmy and his coaching, the reason I think it will really help him is that I've always felt Jimmy plays a brand of pool that requires really good execution. You know, he's a player that, you know, relies on the fact that he's a great cueist, relies on the fact he's got to make great pots a lot. Whereas when you're coaching, he'll be trying to get his players to see the game in a slightly more simplified way, which will help him.
Yeah, exactly right. I just love that last shot there from Craig Waddingham, the way he pumped that yellow into the corner. But just to bring the cube in, it looked quite easy, but it's not as easy as that shot looked. He played with a lot of, like, sort of killed the white just to come and land perfectly on that yellow in the middle. And, well, the silver sniper is here and ready to go by the looks of him, because he looks pretty sharp first thing.
Just landed a bit awkward here. I think he's worried if he plays the yellow that he's nearest to, he could make a little bit of a mess there on the on the right hand side of the table using the red and not land well.
Yeah, he played that plant nicely, but not easy. He'd like that yellow just to stay just maybe half a ball's length nearer to the bottom rail.
I think he's going to struggle to get out here with the way these are set up now. He's going to have to play 2 or 3 excellent shots on the trot. And he's not even taken it on.
No, he's refused it.
Yeah, I couldn't see the control of the finish.
I never liked trying to play a safety, sort of like when I've gone, let's say, over halfway along my route to finish in the frame, and then being forced to play a safety when I've only got 3 balls left on the table. So I always feel I'm leaving my opponent too many options.
Yeah, the average tactical exchange from here will always favour Jimmy Croxton. It's kind of what you're getting at, isn't it? And you don't really want to do that.
Very good shot there from Jimmy. Plonking Craig's yellow firmly behind that red. Big
difference for Craig Waddingham as well, since last time we saw him in a Pro Series event. He's now a full-time pool player, which does change things. Obviously, you know, a lot talked about in the pool world in terms of, you know, the money in the game isn't where it is for other sports, and obviously Ultimate Pool are doing a great job at changing that, but there are more rewards on offer now for someone like Craig to make the decision to go fully professional. Obviously he's having to put a lot of time in and take up opportunities to travel around, play in America, play in, you know, different versions of the game. But great to see. It does mean he's getting to put a lot more time in on the practice table.
Well, it's looking like clinical Croxton at the moment, as he departs another red into a pocket, and it's going to be a nice start for this for Jimmy.
It is, yeah. I mean, it always felt like this was going to happen once Craig made the decision to pull back. And it's an interesting debate, isn't it, in terms of, you know, I think he was odds against making the finish. I think you'd agree with that. But also, it's the odds of making the finish from where he was compared to the odds of winning a tactical exchange. It's a difficult one to kind of analyse, but it's the way he's gone, and it's going to cost him the opening frame here for Jimmy. He's going to make no mistakes from here. I can tell you, obviously, we were keeping an eye on the Sean Ash Cole Bedford game. It is still going on. We're going to jump across there at the end of this frame just to see how the state of the frame looks. The big deciding frame there. That's across on YouTube if you are keeping an eye on that one. Yeah, no mistakes from Jimmy. So he takes the opening frame here. Race to 8. Long way to go. Just over 6 minutes used for that one. So this is the Sean Ash Cole Bedford state of play right now, and it's been a cracking match. Both players, it's been nip and tuck all the way. Sean Ash at the table. Looks like he's on the reds here, but You'd fancy the finish, wouldn't you, from here? I mean, it's tricky, but you've got to take it on.
Got to. Well, you know what Cole's like. At the end of the day, if he gets another chance at the table, he's going to take on anything.
Yeah.
You know, at 7-all, he's got to throw his arm at it and try and win the match. So you've got to go for reds. Yeah,
if you'd like to see the conclusion there, obviously we'll update you as and when, but that is over on YouTube in the hands of Nick Finn and Mark Shepherd. As cracking break that from Craig Waddingham.
Well, are we going to see a bit of quick-fire Craig to try and level this match? As you look at the table, he's taken the reds, and the one red that's his only slight problem will be the one that's nearest that yellow in the bottom right-hand corner. I wonder if Craig feels that this red passes the yellow into the bottom right. Ooh. Well, he won't be pleased with that. Well, Craig.
Slow start here for Wad.
Extension call.
Well, we can jump across, and Cole's not even going to see the 8-ball. Sean Ash has nipped away at Cole Bedford's heels all the way through that match, and he ultimately gets the win in the decider and eliminates the British Open champion from Pro Series 1 of 2025. It's a volatile world out there, Tony.
Yes, that's a big win for Sean Ash. That's the thing, though. If you keep yourselves in those games, just keep yourself just one behind, two behind. You know, you win the match, and then when you get to the line, it then becomes a war of nerves.
I agree. I mean, obviously we didn't get to see the whole match. We were keeping a track of it all the way through, but it just, from our perspective, it looked like Cole was obviously being the aggressor, and Sean was having lots of counter clearance opportunities. He didn't take them all, but he was able to hang around enough and get the job done. Jimmy's in good shape here to go 2-0.
He's just landed a tad short there, is Jimmy. He tried to get on this. Well, he has got on the yellow at the top of the table, but I just think another ball or two rolls forward.
That would make a big difference.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he, he might prove me wrong here and just be able to kill the white, but it's going to be very delicate just to stop it. He might just play it firm and come up and down, but he has done. He's played that pretty well. That's a good shot there from Jimmy Croxton. Decided he couldn't risk not being able to hold. Because sometimes you'll see players that think, oh, I can just about hold it, and they'll do it, and they'll leave themselves like,
on the halfway line.
Yeah, absolutely.
No shot.
And then you're dead then.
But this is what Jimmy's good at. He executes tough shots. He's very good cueist. A former snooker player. He's more than happy to play the shots. He'd be happy with the way he's gone about this. Yeah, it would have been nicer to be a touch better at the top of the table, but it's the way that Jimmy will play. Back that cueing ability, and he gets himself to 2-0. A very good start for Jimmy early in this match. As we look around the arena, any other matches currently completed? No. We've seen a few more matches go on. Luke McAvoy and Sean Sharkey are underway. That's currently 1-1. Brad McCulloch is 2-1 up over John Rowe. They've only just gone on. Eddie Barker's 6-4 up over Hitton Mattel. Winner will play Tom Cousins. Carl Cope and Dave Fernandez are 5-5. Winner of that will play Sean Ash, who's already beaten Cole Bedford. Ryan Pisani 6-5 up over Christophe Lambert, and you can just see Ryan at the table there in the bottom right hand corner of the screen.
Jimmy Croxton to break off frame number 3 in a race to 8. He's already 2 in front of Craig Waddingham, the silver sniper, and this is, I was about to say, it looks an absolute peach of a break until the yellow and the red sort of came together at the top of the table. So there is going to be work for Jimmy to do.
Attention call.
Very close there, just tried to scrape that red away from the yellow. Just missed it. Jimmy's thought out his plan. He's not going to attempt to pot this. He just wants to nudge it out but leave Craig with no shot. I don't think he's quite done that though. Great shot there from Craig, playing the loss of turn. And he's putting the cue ball tucked behind the reds there, and you saw Jimmy tap the table in appreciation. And how's this going to turn out for Jimmy? Does the red pass the yellows at the top of the table? Because if it does if it does, this has all gone bad in this frame for Jimmy Croxton. I think it must do, because Craig Waddingham is very quickly down onto this red. Doesn't want to cue ball too close to the cush, and that's about as bad as he could have finished, to be fair. The only shot he's got on the table is just to roll this red into the bottom corner, have to leave himself a long red into the top afterwards. And that's as good as he could get, but you still fancy him to finish from here. Question now is, does he just dribble this into the corner? and Holford red at the top, or does he play this with a bit more fire? Well, the only consolation there is I think that he hasn't left Jimmy very much at all. He'd actually come too far if he potted it. He'd left himself in a pretty stinky position himself. So I think only Jimmy could do is see the thin end of that yellow that's sat in the middle of the table. Be careful with the cue ball as well. And that's why he had to be careful with the cue ball, because it's always steaming into the black.
Wow, what a major mistake that is from Jimmy Croxton. An absolute gift for the silver sniper. He's up and running. Not how he wanted to do it, but he'll be more than happy to take it. He would have known that was going to go towards it and just took the gamble, really.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it straight away. It's always going in that direction. And he was down that quick, because I just happened to say, he needs to be careful with the cue ball. And I was about to say, because he's going straight towards that black and it will send it towards the corner. But, well, there you go. Anyway, the one person that will be happy with that will be Craig Waddingham, who's just having a little bit of a, let's say, a cough and a splutter of a start. But now he has one on the board, and it is Craig to break. So, and Craig also makes a couple of yellows. Well, take your pick, Craig. Might even be that red's are the better colour.
I think Craig Waddingham's too experienced, too good, and to really think that, you know, 3-0, he'd be panicking. You know, obviously it's big, you know, 3-0, 2-1, it is big, but, you know, Jimmy has let him off the hook there. It was a slow start for Craig, and he might just free up now and start playing, you know, some good stuff, and Jimmy will be kicking himself about that error. Could be a big moment in this match.
Well, Craig Waddingham is very much a rhythm player. I mean, we all know he's such a fantastic potter. But if he gets in his rhythm, he just goes through the balls and the finishes very, very quickly indeed. And that's a lovely little shot. He starts to play just with a tad of flamboyance as he goes around the table. It's like almost like a swagger.
Beautiful shot, that one. Any flick could have really hurt him. Just misses it. Surprised he held there. Thought he'd use the cushion and kind of come back out, more margin of error maybe, but obviously held it beautifully.
Saves wear and tear on the shoes.
Maybe, yeah, wants to make it nice and simple.
Well, very rapidly, Craig Waddingham is now level. So after a little bit of a sticky start from the silver sniper, he's truly announced himself into this superb arena.
Yeah. More matches are underway. John Rowe is up and running here at the table. He's currently 3-2 in front of Rad McCulloch and looking in perfect shape to make it 4-2 for the former world champion. Perfectly on the 8 ball there. That will be another frame to the ringer as Jimmy comes back and gives it the full teapot.
You just knew where you were going with that. As soon as I saw you put his hand on his hip.
He's in the conversation for the best
Teapot
teapot
of the
in
year.
the game. Yeah, I think there's very much it's a competition for me between Rob Warne and Jimmy Croxton.
Yeah, I have to admit, those pair are a classic pair of teapots.
But look at that break. I mean, he's got every reason to feel aggrieved that he's not made a ball. You know, over half the balls have gone into the top half of the table.
Well, a nice surprise there for Jimmy, though, with Craig not potting that red.
Attention call. Red ball's in play.
And another teapot there from Jimmy, who's playing to get that plant into the corner, and the red is hung over the pocket. So it's obvious now that Waddingham's going to play the loss of turn. Cue ball down above the table.
Loss of turn.
And that should do it for Craig. He's put himself in a very, very commanded position on yellows now. Jimmy's reds look terrible. I mean, well, he's looking at a very elaborate 3-ball plant here.
Oh, if that's blocked with yellow, it's a brilliant touch for Jimmy.
No, I don't think it has. I think yellow still goes past the 8. Craig opting to wait, and why not? Because where Craig has put the cue ball, Jimmy's reds are not in the most inviting position for a finish. And at the moment, nothing to laugh about for the Joker in this frame. Well, if nothing else, that's improved things slightly for Jimmy, because he's blocked off a couple of Craig's balls. Like that yellow's gone steaming behind the red on the left. The other one at the top of the table now is sandwiched between 2 of Jimmy's reds as well. But again, what you'll see now is Craig play the waiting game here. He knows he's still big favourite for this frame, so why risk throwing away his opportunity? Just take your time, wait it out, because he's going to get a clear run. And you might be right, actually. I'm now looking at the overhead with that yellow and the black, and I'm not sure it does go.
No, I think that was a massive moment for Jimmy. I really do. I think he's had a touch, and obviously, you know, that could be a big factor in this frame. In terms of, I think Craig might have had some temptation, you know, to try and find a way to get a plotting opportunity and then go, but not now. See,
Attention call.
Danger Mouse there, Liam. And Jimmy's good friends in the background watching on. Ultimate Pool Professional will be in action throughout this weekend. Just waiting for his first game. In fact, he's played his first game, excuse me. I believe he won. Let me check that out. Yes, he did. He beat David McQuillan 8-3. So he is waiting for his next game in the last 32, where he will play the winner of Matt Cook and John McAllister, who are currently underway over on YouTube in the hands of Nick Finn and Mark Shepherd. If you want to keep an eye on that one. How about that for a nice segue?
The dynamic duo of the Finn and the Shepherd. Yeah, be a big ask there for Matt Cook against John McAllister. Absolute juggernaut of a player is McAllister when he's on his game.
Yeah, he got himself right up to the top, hasn't he? Took a couple of years just coming through the, as a new professional, wild-carded in. It takes time, but he's got titles to his name. He's right up there in the rankings, and he'll be there to stay. He's a fabulous player. As is the man at the table now. Playing a little bit of cat and mouse here, trying to get rid of each other's balls off the table. Currently, Craig kind of winning that battle, if you like. If it keeps playing out the way it's playing out, Craig should win this tactical exchange, and that can sometimes force you to do some crazy things, even if it's low percentage. Jimmy might be there right now. Come on then, Tony. You've been around the game a long time. Where is Jimmy Croxton going to pop the dead red here?
Well, I have no idea. I didn't think he wanted to leave himself that angle. That's for sure.
I mean,
I think he wanted to be straight, and if he could play the red off the yellow and the black, could he have played it force and bounce it in?
I actually think he was playing the shot with no margin of error, which was to get half a turn off straight so that he could power it in. I mean, you've got no margin. I mean, you can pinch the pocket a touch, so you're almost playing for straight and need to finish that half a turn off. But that isn't a high percentage. But obviously, as I said, when you get yourself behind in a tactical exchange, you are looking for those low percentage outs because that might be your best opportunity.
Wonder if Craig might try and glue the cue ball to the 8 ball. No, running out of time, so he's had to get down and play a shot quickly. And he thought the one over the bag was the easiest option to do that. See, this yellow and the black is where Craig's main problem is. Everything else is fine. I think he's gone to move that then.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, body language suggests not. He's a big target for him to miss by that far, so you'd have to say he wasn't. But you'd have thought that was an opportunity to go into it in a good way.
Should be a big frame for Jimmy to win. Should he win it? Because when you said that somebody's going to have to sort of thrust their arm into this, it's turned out it's been Craig.
Yeah, he was winning the tactical exchange. I think more patience. He could have fully won it and had a better opportunity than this. But the modern way is to go a little bit earlier.
Big positional shot here. Wants to be straight on this yellow down the rail so he can hold for the yellow beneath the black, and he's pretty good.
Do you think he can hold? It looks like he's got to turn too much angle. He'd have to really kill it in.
Right, you could drag this with left-hand side. Just spin the cue ball off that rail. So you play bottom of the white with a little bit left-hand side and you spin it slightly. So now he's got to cut this. He's got to pop the cue ball around the back of that red and off the two rails. I'm not sure if the black passes in that red into that corner and the shake of the head tells you it doesn't.
Do you think he can dig this enough to go on and off the cushion and catch the red and then have the 8 ball up the table?
Just looking at that now, but I think he really has to get the cue right up in the air for that. So I think he comes around the back, tries to hold for the black either into the straight cut into the middle or a double. Good grief. What's he got there? It's come off the knuckle.
He's got a shot at the 8 ball. This cue ball could be close. He's playing it fairly natural, so
Ooh, don't like this. Oh, it's a great shot. What a shot.
What an out. What an out.
Brilliant finish.
He dug very hard there to find that finish. And that is fabulous.
Well, that's the best one we've seen today. Yeah, very well played there from Craig Waddingham. Just when you thought he'd dug himself into a great big hole, he's completely catapulted himself back out of it, and now he gets his nose in front. Jimmy had a 2-0 lead, and now Jimmy doesn't have a 2-0 lead. He trails by a frame instead, as he looks very stern there. That's not the Joker I know.
Still half a mind on the pot in the 8-ball mid-frame, and he kind of gambled going into it, knowing he'd go into it.
Yeah, possibly. Uh-oh. Nice break here. That's a... And he didn't really power those, Craig, either. I mean, you look at the break and the way just he sort of pops things apart. It's not a massive splash, but very, very effective.
Extension call. Yellow ball's in play.
Well, he worked himself into a position with a tricky last ball, but Craig Waddingham pretty much made a career of making these sorts of shots. Beautiful touch, and this one's fully turned around. This 8-ball for 4 on the trot for Craig Waddingham. Silver Sniper off to a slow start, handed frame 3, and he's taken advantage, and he's now halfway to the target as we have 20 minutes left in the match. There's the state of play right now. Just saw there John McAllister's just lurking in the bottom right hand corner. That's currently going on YouTube right now. He's taking on Matt Cook. Plenty of matches in the background as well. Looks like Vivek Mack might be over there on table 3. Yeah, there is Vivek Mack there. It really is a great site here in Wigan. Also, at some point we will show you the, I think it's 70 odd other tables in the other room where there's lots of action currently going on.
Trailing 4 frames to 2. Yellow ball's in play.
What a shot that is from Jimmy Croxton. Back against the wall here, the way he's lost 4 straight. full-blooded, and now he's in prime position. This should be a fairly routine out now from Jimmy to get himself back going.
Nice position there from Jimmy. In fact, better than nice. That is perfect. Just these 2 yellows to slot away, and it's be an easy black ball into the centre pocket, and Jimmy will stop the rot. So this simple 8 gets Jimmy to back within 1 of Craig Waddingham, and in it goes. And Jimmy just reminding Craig that he's still here.
Yeah, that was a really big shot. That yellow to the bottom corner was massive, and that was Jimmy kind of in full kind of Jimmy Croxton fashion, really. He does play those big shots, backs his potting, as I've said before, and he needed that at that moment. Otherwise, that doesn't go in. You expect Craig to run him out, make it 5, and then the match is starting to get away. But fabulous from Jimmy. Well, the ball's been racked. We can just update you with a couple of scores. Carl Cope's completed victory over Dave Fernandez, 8-6. We've also seen a result for Ryan Pisani. He's beaten Christophe Lambert 8-6 as well. Luke Gilbert's completed victory over Zach Cooper 8-5. Shane Thompson over Simon Fitzsimmons 8-3. Carl Sutton over Aidan Hughes 8-5. Clinton Castaldi 8-6 over Phil Parkin. Aaron Davies 8-2 over Josh Tuaz. The results so far, outside of the ones we've already mentioned.
Attention call. Red ball's in play.
It's just come far enough there, Jimmy. You can get to the red in the right centre. Just having a look at the 2 reds there. They both go into the top left. Everything available except the 8 ball, but I'm sure that Jimmy has a plan for it. And there you see him try to execute that plan, which was to kick it out in the open. But he has made it potable into the bottom left, but that's kind of second prize.
The difference, one more half a revolution on the 8 ball there would be, will it be frame over? I mean, yes, I know he still has a problem sort of working all around, but that 8 ball goes half a turn more. But he still should, he'll still fancy this. It's almost the same shot again, isn't it? That's what he needs to do. But the problem with that is he's probably going to have to do it last shot now. Get that slightly high angle on the red's bottom left, bottom cushion, and half ball the 8 ball off the bottom cushion. He could play on it. Which way would you go? We just play that, screw across the top of it and get on it that way?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. That'll be me.
Craig's interested because he's left himself way too much angle here, which means he's coming down the table. He's got to almost play around with the 8 ball and yellow here. he might end up playing into it from here just because of the angle he's got and hold on the red to left centre.
I think he could have if he could dig that really deep and hold. Ooh, not keen on that.
Yeah, that's no good. Made everything worse.
Well, no good there for Jimmy, and he's put his red safe. Not only that, he's left Craig. Well, he's going to play a little safety here now. Try and force Jimmy now to nudge the red and that yellow as well apart. And that's all Craig requires. Well, Jimmy's giving it a launch, hit the red. But obviously disturbing Craig's yellow as well, so it's now Waddingham with a chance to regain his 2-frame cushion. Craig might just elect to just nudge into that yellow that's on the rail, and he does. Splits them open perfectly. Just wants to run the ball in now at the top of the table. Just going around to double check. Or is he changing his mind? No, it was a double check. Why not use the extension to set yourself? Important sort of position in this match as well.
Yeah, we're sort of not necessarily on the, this is to go back 2 in front and 3 away, but more also the clock situation. So yeah, just want to make sure. And 2 in front it is. Jimmy, he will be disappointed with that, probably more than anything else in the match. And I know he popped the 8-ball mid-frame earlier on, but that frame there, he had an opportunity, one he'd have expected to make. He'd half solved the problem, and then a loose positional shot put him in a tough spot. So that was one that really got away from Jimmy. Over on YouTube right now, John McAllister is currently 2-0 ahead of Matt Cook. And looks like they're in a little bit of an exchange there as well. Well, Matt's going to try and find a way, but that 8-ball at the, that red at the bottom is dead, really.
Yeah, John McAllister like an immovable object when he gets into that arena. 2 up. And Matt looking in a bit of bother in frame 3 as well there.
5 frames to 3.
That, of course, over on YouTube with Nick Finn and Mark Shepherd with the expert analysis. Another look at Jimmy's break. Cue ball fairly close to that corner. Didn't go in. However, what else didn't go in, as we see a full teapot once again from Jimmy Croxton, is a coloured ball. So it will be the silver sniper, Craig Waddingham, at the table. Already got himself to a 2-frame cushion here, 5-3 up. He'd just love to run out this frame. Get himself to 3 in front. Well, he's gone for the double, made it. He's also left a nice angle now, so he can play the red into the centre. And this is where he wants to go. Just kick these balls apart, push the red towards that bottom corner.
Yeah, and knew exactly what he was doing there with the cannon. Just needed a little punch through. Let the balls do the work, and knew he was staying on the one to right centre. And now he has it all open. It just has to connect it together. That's not necessarily guaranteed. The red that he's just moved near is the bottom right hand corner. Gaps aren't huge.
We just heard that little bell in the background, and now we are down to 15 seconds of shot as we go into the last 10 minutes of this encounter.
Now we play.
Nice shot there from Craig, great position. Got to be careful with this though now, because he needs to just get the perfect angle so he can play this next red after this into the middle bag and get that cue ball to land in that gap where you can see the one over the bag. I think he's got the wrong angle. He's going to have to punch this with a load of side. Well, he's on it. Can he get behind the yellows and up for the black in the corner? Oh, he can. Wants the keyboard to slow down a bit though. That was the price you pay for it. You had to put a bit of pace on the keyboard there to get it behind those yellows. And the problem with that is you get that little kick off the rail and it'll take the keyboard to the top of the table. So this is a tough black. Knocked. Oh my word! I was about to say knocked in with aplomb, but look at the keyboard.
Wow. They are giving each other frames in this match. How? He'll be thinking, how? I'm sending the cue ball into traffic. How has that happened? And, well, Jimmy gave him one earlier on. Craig Waddingham has given him one straight back, and that is a big moment in this match. Even bigger than Jimmy's.
Here, Philly's been unlucky there more than Jimmy's one. Jimmy's is quite obvious for me. He was always going to send the cue ball into the black towards that bag. That one you wouldn't spot, and he didn't spot it.
Frame 10. Frame
There we are with 5-4.
5 frames to 4.
Just when Craig thought he was going to get a 3-frame cushion as well. Now he's back at 1. Dry break would be ultra killer then, if that was to happen, which is not. Well, you don't want reds, but is there an easy starting yellow? This is the thing. I'm looking at it now. I think, does he risk playing the plant up into the top left? Can he get reds? Oh, you can see that one straight through. From our camera angle, I'd never thought in a million years he'd get through there, but there you go. So it wasn't as bad as I made out after all.
I've said this many times on commentary before, but I think Craig Waddingham has got one of the best temperaments in the game. Obviously tested with what he did in the previous frame. Well, commentator's curse perhaps, or was that just a natural miss?
Taxi for Simon Webb.
Yeah. But normally he does. He normally has a fabulous, I mean, I'm not saying that he missed that because of, he's hampered queuing here, it's an awkward pot, but normally he just, moves on. It's happened and we get on with the next. But mistake there on the back of the mistake in the previous frame. Instead of being 3 frames in front, he's only 1, remember. That is a massive difference in the final 10 minutes.
Well, really, since Jimmy's been 2-0 up, we haven't seen an awful lot of him. This match could have been, well, Craig could have been away and over the hill, really, because Jimmy's had a couple of dry breaks. But if Jimmy gets this finish, he's level. And it just doesn't feel like, and this is nothing against Jimmy, it feels like the match has been mostly Craig Waddingham, and it still could be 5 each. Tough shot here, though, for Jimmy. Long cut up into the top corner. He's overcut it, you can see. And a disappointed Jimmy Croxton trudges back to his seat. So second bite of the cherry now for Craig. And also a chance to swiftly erase the memory of that last in off the black. Nothing to do with the cue ball here, just plain pot this, make sure of it. Gets the cue ball over. Doesn't want to be stuck to the rail. Executed that very nicely indeed. And this 6-4. And in it goes. So Craig restores the 2-frame lead once again.
Big error that really from Jimmy. Once Craig makes his mistake, you feel like he's got to win that. Got to win that frame really and really punish. But let him off the hook and Craig can forget about it now and move on. As we see John Rowe still in action. Last time we dipped in here, he was winning, or he was about to go 4-2 in front. It's now moved on significantly, now 6-5 in front. So John Rowe is 2 frames away now, playing Rab McCulloch.
Trailing 6 frames to 4.
Back to our match, with 5 minutes to play. Both players, well, Craig could feel like he could all but be done here, but oh, Jimmy, that's unlucky. That's tough to see. But Jimmy will feel like he should be all square here, and he's not, and now he's got no shot. That is big.
That seemed a bit of a wild throw of the dice. Had to go though, I suppose. There's no real safety and no value in it. But now it's Craig Waddingham with a chance to get on the hill.
Yellow ball's in play.
Just wants to try and squeeze a little cut into the little bag here, Craig. Pinching this with a little bit of side. Rub the cue ball into the other yellow. Well, he's made the cut, but that's finished nasty. Well, that's going to have to be doubled. Double into the bottom corner. No other shot. Well, great shot, but can he get that yellow through to play a plant into the middle And if he can he hold the cue ball on the red below it? Well, that's gone wrong.
Yeah, there could be some late drama here. Jimmy's going to get to the table, you feel, and after this next shot, and well, 3 minutes left. Clear him up in a minute and a half and leave him a minute and a half. Needs to go quick here. It's Craig Waddingham's break next. Remember, there's no golden breaks or golden ducks in place. Jimmy has to do this ultra quick. Got to leave. Got to, at absolute worst way, got to leave over a minute.
Yeah, obviously got to make sure the frame, but it's going to be briskly done. So skates will be on. This is okay. He's going to leave plenty of time here.
Yeah, he's going to leave just, well, he might not leave anything. He's just got there. Thought he was going to land halfway there, but he's fine. He's going to leave about 2 minutes. So Craig will need to make a ball off the break and have a bit of work to do. Drama here in the opening round of the Pro Series. Jimmy Croxton. It's been a wild roller coaster, this match, really. 2-0 up, went and potted the 8-ball mid-frame in frame 3, and then found himself behind. The gift to get back in it. And he's now 1 away. Needs a dry break from Craig Waddingham, though, or an early mistake from Craig Waddingham. You think with 2 minutes left, make a ball, then you've got an opportunity to control your destiny. You can either make a clearance slowly, or you can make a mess of the table. Dry break gives Jimmy Croxton every opportunity. 2 minutes is plenty. Oh, wouldn't you know it's going to be dry as well. It is dry. There's one awkward. I think the 2 reds together, I think, does go to bottom left. But it's the one just above it. If he goes yellows, then can he get to the one on the left cushion? It's really awkward. So reds is the choice. Not surprised by that. But a red to solve. Does that red double to the centre? I think it doubles to the corner, but that's awkward. You might try and leave the perfect angle to play into it, but that's dangerous.
Ooh, didn't want that nudge. Can he go twice across?
He had to get to the cushion first, didn't he? Which was hard from his angle.
He went for the twice across double, or treble, should I say. Got to play the safety now. Just play him.
Yeah, if he's got an easy opener, you take it on. But if not, it's the easy snooker.
Use this extension.
Would you not just pot the yellow at the top of the table?
No, I'd use my extension. Let this run down.
But you're giving him a chance at the table. He's not beyond the realms of possibility that he makes it off a kick shot. I'd take the yellow at the top of the table every time.
Well, if you miss the yellow at the top of the table, you're leaving him straight red into the corner.
I mean, it's Craig Waddingham. He's one of the best potters in the game.
Okay. Well, if you miss the yellow, leave him straight shot into the corner.
Hey, if Jimmy comes off the cushion and pots this, he'll regret it.
I'm saying nothing.
He's got to wait. The cue ball's still spinning. It's still spinning. It's still spinning. Can you believe that? How unfortunate is that for Jimmy Croxton? And he makes the 8-ball with the cue ball still spinning anyway. That is so tough for Jimmy. He makes the ball, but it wouldn't stop. That was insane.
I told you I was right.
I mean, we can debate that long into the night, Tony Holgate, but that was incredible drama at the end of the match. The cue ball just refused to stop spinning for Jimmy Croxton, and ultimately he doesn't get the chance to pop the 8-ball, which means he goes off and he loses the match. What a match that was. Drama right the way to the very final second.